show on ukhealthradio.com. I'm now going to talk a little about health and safety while you're on a cruise. I mean, if a cruise ship is in quarantine, it makes big news. Nearly everybody on board has an upset stomach, and when you're on board, there's nowhere to escape. It's like a floating prison. When you're in a home or in a hotel, it's not too bad, as you can always get away from the problem quickly. But even though it lasts only 24 to 48 hours, when you're in a confined space, it's a real problem. And it is rare, although you wouldn't have thought so with all the news stories, so not many people do get ill. But when it happens, there's big press about it. I mean, after all, the media's not going to report cruise ship docks at end of tour, no illness, and everybody had a great time. It's not likely to happen, is it? Anyway, you can reduce your chances of getting ill. You just need to remember to always clean your hands before handling your food, smoking, or even brushing your teeth. Ships do have their own medical centres on board as well, which isn't surprising when you think about how old the average age of the passengers used to be. Yes, some ships do have morgues as well. However, they may not be able to replace your prescription drugs, so ensure they have a spare supply when you go, and also have the local names for the drip pills as well in case you need to get some. The name of your tablet might be not the same name they use in other countries, so have alternatives as well. And finally, you will probably eat more than usual on your cruise, and not all the food will be good for you, so do take it easy on the cream cakes. There are inspections though, and cruise ships lines that visit the USA, they have an inspection by the Vessel Sanitation Program, VSP, at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, which issue a green sheet report of the vessel sanitation program of the inspected ship. To check out the latest inspections, go to the list. The VSP have websites, and you can check it out. The VSP carried out on the following of all ships based in the USA carries more than 13 passengers, and all foreign ships that have an itinerary that include USA ports. So there's periodic and unannounced operational sanitation inspectors and scheduled construction project inspections. Monitors gastrointestinal illness and investigating or responding of outbreaks. Training the cruise ship employees on public health practices. And it also provides health education and current public health information to the cruise ship industry, the public and the health professionals. And safety-wise, there are drawbacks of being stuck on a floating hotel. Sinkings have occurred, think Titanic, and also people fall overboard, people go missing, and there are sexual assaults. A larger cruise ship is full of more people, and people means crime. Just because you're having fun, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't forget to take the same precautions that you would if you're on land, at a resort in Mexico or Thailand or whatever. You have to take the same precautions on a cruise ship. So use the ship safe for all your valuables. Don't overdo the alcohol. Decks are very dangerous places to be when you think you're invincible because you had a few sherbets. Never go off with a stranger. And if you win big at the casino, don't go mad with the celebration. And use the ship safe for your cash for winnings. So decisions you need to make before you book a cruise, and you don't just book a cruise because it's cheap. Even if it is the right cruise, the mistake on the booking can ruin it for you. So here's a rundown of things you should consider before handing over your credit card details. When it comes to choosing a cabin, if you're worried about seasick, then the middle of the boat has less movement than the front or rear. And there are basically two types of cabin, inside and outside. The inside ones don't have any portholes, so at night time the only light you'll see, which is whatever light escapes through the cabin door. People might find this too dark, but the only advantage of the inside cabins is that they're the cheapest of any type of cabin. So you've got inside, suite, whatever. They are cheap. And when it comes to outside cabins, there are a few different options there too. There's balcony, there's view, and there's partial view. And partial views are the cheapest outside cabin type. They have a window, but the view is blocked, and it's usually by a lifeboat. The partial view cabins that I've seen should change the word from partial to no. The lifeboat has covered the whole window, but the advantage of this type of cabin, apart from the cheaper price, is that they could be good for claustrophobics, as at least they're not fully boxed in. So if you are claustrophobic, a partial view would be the best option to go for if you can't afford a balcony or a full view. Cabins with a view have windows that don't open. It's just a question of selecting a cabin that you can see land from or the sea for some of your cruise. The ship uses plans to ensure that you don't look outside onto a public space. And windows that are near a public space are meant to have one-way windows, but I wouldn't trust it. You do need to remember, though, that balconies can be seen on the bridge. I've been on the bridge of a ship, and you can see just about every balcony of every cabin. So if you want to get up to anything, somebody could be watching, and there are cameras everywhere on the outside. So you do need to behave yourself. They're not private places. So use the ship layouts to ensure that your cabin position suits you best. It may be handy for you to be near the bars, nightclubs or restaurants, but it can be noisy at night and there'll be a lot of footfall past your cabin as people go to the restaurants and bars you're near to. Cabins are divided into classes, which means differing facilities and prices. One option that the cruise offers is a kind of an allocation on arrival scheme. You pay a slightly cheaper price for your class of cabin, and there is a chance that you might get a free upgrade. However, there is a drawback to this because you can't reject the upgrade, so you could have spent ages going over the ship plan to find a cabin where you're not going to get seasick, you're not going to be overlooked, you've got balcony, there's not going to be a lot of footfall, you've not got the disco above your head, and then you get the upper cabin, which is going to be bigger, slightly bigger bed, and you could be right next to the restaurant and you're stuck. So you do take a risk. When it comes to excursions, shore activities are the main reason a lot of people go on a cruise. They want to see the destinations, although there are a few people who prefer to stay on the ship all the time. When it comes to excursions, it can and probably is cheaper to book locally, but please remember that if you go off on your own on a ship, it will not wait for you, and if you are late, it's going without you, and it's your responsibility to catch up the ship at the next stop if you can. If you do decide to book your own shore excursions, please remember that some destinations there isn't much available during a ship visit. I was at the Cayman Islands and there was 4 cruise ships in on the same day. There's only one helicopter trip. There's only one decent beach bar. There's only one. So the cruise ships book everything on block, so they might not be able to get anything locally anyway. And when you're researching online for excursions, see if the tour company is a member of any trade organisation. Around the Caribbean, a lot of them are a member of the American Society of Travel Agents. Or they could be members of the local chambers of commerce, or they're recommended by the tourist board. And also check that the price for the excursion includes transfer to and from the ship. A typical complaint of an official tour, though, is too much time is spent at a trading establishment instead of the actual activity. So when you're looking at the excursions on offer, try and find the reviews or ask some people on forums to find out if the excursion is just an excuse to get an extra few quid for the tour guide by making sure you buy something from their friend's shop. And most importantly, tell your bank or credit card company that you're going to be travelling at different countries within a few days of each other, otherwise your cards might get blocked, and it can be very expensive to call your bank from a ship if you need to unblock them. You can follow me on Twitter at holiday_hut. I'm going to be finishing off the show by going through some cruise websites which can help you make the right choice. I mean, booking a cruise can be complicated, but there is plenty of advice, not just from me, the travel researcher, the host of the travel show on the ukhealthradio.com, but I have to admit there are other people out there who know a lot about cruises, and these are the people I actually referred to when I was doing my travel agency and travel researching job. Again, I'm not going to go through the web addresses. I did that at the beginning. It sounds very complicated and very messy, but there will be a link at the facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show for you to find these web addresses. The first one is Cruise Mates, which aims to be a one-stop internet cruise magazine and cruise information guidebook. It is independent and prides itself on being editorially unbiased, and it says it offers accurate and up to the minute cruise information. And there's also a forum there for cruise enthusiasts to meet virtually and ask questions and offer advice. Cruise Talk is a forum where you can find out more about cruises or find the answers to your own cruise questions. As with all types of forums, please read the frequently asked questions or FAQs and do check previous postings before you ask a question. It's just polite because I'm going to go off on a tangent. I'm on a travel agent forum at the minute and the same questions get asked over and over and over again because nobody bothers with the netiquette to see if anybody's asked a question in the past. If you don't want to rub people up the wrong way, do your research on the website before you ask the question. It's not the best designed website in the world, but it's still very useful. It's run by an American travel company, so there are loads of ads and special offers from them on it. Cruise Diva is created by a freelance travel writer called Linda Kaufman, so she could share the best cruise-related travel information available on the internet. That's her quote. She's an avid cruiser and wants her readers to enjoy their voyages to the fullest. She has the same goal as me, really. I want people to have the best of their travel, the best of their holidays. She wants people to have the best of their cruises. You can find out how to plan and prepare for a cruise and what you can expect both on board and while ashore at ports of call. But there isn't a chat room and there isn't a Q&A section. World Cruise Guide. It's not a guide for cruises as such, but this website offers guides to the ports of call offered by the major cruise lines. Cruise Addicts is a source of the latest news of ships and destinations of port of call. There is advice on planning and an online community as well who share ship reviews, photos, videos and more. Cruise Cams, and cruise is spelled KROOOZ. It's a chance to see what's happening on your preferred cruise ship. The website allows you to check out over 70 different ships from views from the bridge to over the bow. And there are also views from some ports as well. Most of the pictures are stills and the updates do vary, so they're not refreshed that often in some cases. A very important website, Cruise Critic, set up in 1995. It's had over 5 million visitors and is an interactive community comprised of experienced and first-time cruisers. The website aims to help people to plan, research and share cruising experiences. There's reviews, features, ports of call profile and destination stories. Cruise Line International Association is the largest cruise association for the cruise lines. It is formed to promote the cruise industry and is comprised of 26 of the major cruise companies serving North America. You can research your cruise, but of course it's all going to be positive. There's not going to be much in the way of negative stuff on here because it is a trade organisation designed to promote the cruise industry. Cruise News has been offering news from cruise companies for over 20 years, so it can keep you up to date on launches and new cruises. Cruise News Daily isn't a listing of... This website isn't a listing of the latest discount rates. It aims to be a guide of what's new in the cruise industry with new itineraries, new ships and new features. It's mainly news about cruises and they are directed towards people in North America. Porthole is an online magazine that features cruise and travel editorial for consumers. Its writers share their stories, opinion, tips and insights into the places they go and the adventures they experience in a cruise, and it is a subscription service. And Cyber Cruises is a web directory for links for other cruise websites. So I've shared plenty of information with you this week, travel stuff such as finding weather, checking the weather, finding cruises and alternative accommodation. As I say every week, if there's any particular part of travel you want to know more about, please do drop me a line via facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show, or you can tweet me at holiday_hut. And I'll do my best to get the answers to you. If I can't answer the question, I will find somebody who can. And I do hope you can join me next week on the Travel Show with John Guinn on ukhealthradio.com, where each week I'm checking it out before you check in.